I do really like this deck, chat. You know, prior to like anyone that wasn't here when I was talking about this earlier, I had been testing this deck because I'm thinking about Ultimate Cup, right? And I am comfortable enough with this deck's win-loss ratio for me to show it off right now. And the main thing is can't do well against Blue Hybrid. This deck can do well against Blue Hybrid because thanks to promotes and Death Claws and Callings from Darknesses, you can play around things like Sorajo, which is incredibly important. So I am enjoying this deck. That being said, this is basically an Eyesmon Turbo deck with the Mastemon Spice in it. And we will talk about that, don't you worry. 4 Demi-Mirrors, because the deck is just straight gas. You guys just saw me play with this live on stream. I haven't needed a single 5th egg at any point. The only egg I wish I had maybe sometimes was Retaliation Salmon. If you misplay with this deck, just like if you misplay with Lilith Loop, you will lose to anything. So it is very important that you don't misplay live on stream for the whole world to see. Don't do that. So there we go. There are my 4 eggs. Rookies. The best rookie in the deck is the Goblimon on deletion, draw 2, discard 1, because your stuff is going to die, and that's just super important. So we play 4 of it. We play 2 Gazimon, because memory denial is important, and that's really all I gotta say about that. I'm fine with 2, and I'll talk about that why I'm fine with 2 later. Usually I emphasize playing maybe more of this, unless it's recyclable, which in this deck it is. Next I'm playing 2 Devimon. This is actually super important. The reason it's super important is because there's a situation sometimes where, like, you have a Mat and an Analog Boy on the field, right? And, like, you have a Cerberus Mon stack with a Werewolf in hand. So what you can do is if you attack with a Cerberus, whatever, you can Analog Boy to play the Werewolf. You go to 4 memory, and then what you can do is play this. You can rush with the Werewolf, then you can play this, and you can evolve it for 2 on top of promote. You're still at 0, and you can potentially swing for lethal. That's why Demi Vmon, in my opinion, is very important in this deck. It also lets you kind of choke your opponent. Like, if you're at 3 because you're Memory Tamer, you can play for 2 and evolve for 2 in the champion, right? Anyway, so 2 Demi Vmon, I actually really like in this deck. Lately, I have not been a big fan of 2-drop rookies, but I think in this deck, it just kind of works because it is turbo. 1 Elecmon, just to be able to out things like Bokomon, Memory Deniers, stuff like that. And I'm playing 1 Labramon, because sometimes the on-play draw 1, discard 1 comes up. I think this is actually the worst card in the deck. This has also been Tsukaimon. This was more valuable than Tsukaimon when I was testing with it. It just hasn't come up recently. That's not really a big deal or anything. You have enough ways to gain memory in this deck that it's not a big deal if you don't have memory. It's perfectly fine. Tsukaimon is nice, but kind of win more, if you want my opinion. Unless you're trying to do some kind of early game memory tempo swing in your favor or something like that. Labramon's fine though. It's a one of. Sometimes it comes up. That's how it is. So we played 10 rookies in the deck, and you don't need more than that. Your champions are really good, and you don't mind hard playing them sometimes. So if 10 rookies is okay, and as long as you can open Goblimon, that's probably fine. You're in a really good spot if you do. For the champions, we're playing the package. 4 and 4. This card is still at 4 for another month longer. It's very important. That's what makes this whole deck. Like, your Eyesmons scatter modes will die. It's a security. I will happily report that in today's stream, this barely had jamming. Eyesmon doesn't have jamming, guys. Believe me, it does not have jamming. And then you just drop your regular Eyesmons. And then you do all sorts of crazy things. Like evolve promotes on top of them, which we play 3. It gives your Digimon Rush for basically 1, because it costs 1 to evolve level 4, which is really strong. And we do also play the 1 Ginkaku and the 1 Kinkaku, just in case we need to manipulate memory with a promote. It does happen sometimes, where like you have a Mastemon in your hand, you're at 3 memory. So if you can Mastemon and bring back promote with these, you don't pass the turn and you probably just win that turn. So I do believe in having the 1 and 1. The 1 is good to discard at killing level 3s too, which comes up because memory blockers and Boko are a thing in this format. In Ginkaku, it actually just rarely comes up, to be honest. Rarely comes up. But you gotta play it, well, at least one of it, because it promotes. So that's it. We play 13 champions in this deck. This is perfect the way it is. It's perfect the way it is. This is literally the perfect ratio. The only thing I thought of doing maybe extra is a fourth promote, but I can't find the room for that. 13 is really fine, especially when you can just hard play these or hard play your scatter modes. It feels really good if you don't open rookies, but you can drop one of those. It's honestly fine, especially scatter mode. All right, 13 champions. Really, really solid lineup. Our ultimate lineup is really straightforward. I really only just want the gas. We're playing 4 Cerberus and 4 Werewolf Cerberus for the rushing and all of that fun stuff, and the draw 2 discard 1. That's how it works. Unfortunately, it does lose to memory blockers, which is why we need to play out memory blockers, which we do. But being able to, like, discard an Eyesmon, evolve the Cerberus, pop it, and get a Rusher, and get to draw 2 discard 1, is very good. We play 4-4 because I want to see both pieces equally. They both have different niches. If you have this and not werewolf mode, you're still like drawing 2 discarding 1. It's very good. If you have this and not this, well, maybe you can discard an Eyesmon, evolve into werewolf mode as rush, just like promote. So it's honestly really good. 4-4 is the way to go. You can't change my mind on this. It's just the way. We play no other ultimates because we don't want to draw any other ultimate. The Megas. This is the part that's going to blow your mind, chat. 1 Mastemon, 1 Nidhoggmon. That's it. That is it. We are only playing the 2 Megas. The reason we're playing the 2 Megas is because they are technically bricks, and I don't want to draw them early game. I really don't. So we only play 2, 1 of each. This is a Mastemon Rush deck because 9 times out of 10, you are going to win with Mastemon. It's crazy because you're drawing your deck. Eventually, you draw a Mastemon, and then you just use Mastemon to basically take the finishing blow. And Nidhogg is just here as utility, as an extra memory here and there. That's really it. And it is recyclable. We'll talk about that in a moment. But playing 1 Mastemon is fine. I tried 2 Mastemons, and I drew 2 Mastemons too many times, and they could have been other pieces. So 1 and 1 is perfect. I have less issues with the deck bricking now that I'm doing 1 of each. And the Nidhogg, I think, is kind of mandatory because sometimes you do need it. Sometimes that extra memory does let you win the game. I try to save this for as long as possible, like you should. You should save your Jack Raids, by the way, play Jack Raids, as long as possible, and this also falls in that line. So we do play the 2 Megas, and that's it. No Omnimons, nothing like that. For Tamers, we're playing a Mat for the memory. That also recycles any purple card you want, which is really good. And 3 Analogs. 4 is too many, in my opinion. Analog would be super, super clutch if we were regularly, reliably getting Cerberuses and Werewolf pops, but it doesn't actually happen as often as you think it does. So 3 is fine. And to be honest, 4 will brick you. Now, that sounds weird because Analog is technically always getting you a card, right? But sometimes you lose a turn to do that, or you lose 2 memory to do that, and that can matter in a rush type of deck like this. 4 Analogs, I was just drawing multiples with like no ways to like play them safely, when they could have been a Digimon that did something more. But 3 Analog, I think, is the sweet spot. I think it's fine. I would not try anything else. Because I did try 4, and I hated it. And the 1 Mat, I think, is mandatory. Because you do need to have some kind of memory tamer in this format. You don't always need it against every deck, but it does really help you out if you have a Mat and they don't have memory tamer. It is really strong. Plus, you get to recycle whatever you want. It's really good. That's it for our tamers. The rest of the deck is options. There's a lot of options in this deck. The best option in the deck is Deathclaw. We play 4 of it. It pops your Eyesmons, pops your Cerberuses, and then you kill something. A blocker, a memory blocker, a Bokomon, whatever. It fucking kills it. And you need the Deathclaws so you can trigger your Eyesmons and stuff like that as well. So we gotta play 4 of it. We have to play 4 of it because we have to be able to kill memory blockers if they come up. It's very important. And also hitting it in security is really good. We also play 4 Jack Raids. Now, this might seem a little bit weird, and to be fair, I was trying 2 Jack Raids. I wasn't a fan. I was trying 3 Jack Raids. I was a little more okay with it, but playing 4 Jack Raids A, it gives you the Hammer Spark effect, which is always great. And B, you just have extra memory sometimes. It's very, very, very often where you get yourself to like 20 cards in trash, and then you can just jack grade a bunch and have a winning turn. It doesn't work exactly like a Lilith Loop deck, but you do save these for one final big push, and that's the turn you win. And jack grade helps you facilitate that. So we play 4 of it. Now, we are playing 3 Calling from the Darkness. Delete one of your Digimon, return 2 purple Digimon to your hand. This can recycle your Mastemon if you needed to, but to be fair, I've never had to do that. It can recycle mostly your Eyesmons and your Cerberuses and your Promotes. Those are usually the only things that I add back with Calling from the Darkness. And I do recommend that you also follow the similar pattern with that, because they are your win pieces, basically. And if you somehow get Mastemon in the trash, you should add it back to your hand as well. We play 1 purple memory boost, just to have the extra memory again. I think it's very important. And the deck thinning is good. And then 1 Dead or Alive, because it comes up sometimes where you get to like hit it in security, win the game. Or you can just do it to make your Cerberus play a little cheaper. I was playing 2 of this at one point, I didn't like it. I was playing 2 of this at one point, I didn't like it. I was trying Glaive Memory Boost, and I've been going off and on between this and Glaive Memory Boost, because Glaive lets you recycle 1 of your pieces, which this does not. But Glaive sometimes is kind of dead. So I'm hit or miss. This could be a Glaive Memory Boost, it's probably fine. The other card that people play in this deck that I tried and wasn't a big fan of is Dracmon. Dracmon from the starter deck that adds a level 1 option to your hand when you hard play it. Not a fan. Not a fan. You play so many of these options that you don't need Dracmon to recycle them for you, because you just have access to them when you need to have access to them. And you're not prematurely blowing them in your opponent's face either. You're not like exploding with them. You're just keeping them until you need to use them. If you play this deck very conservatively and then have a big final push, that's how you win. Dracmon, I think, is just a waste, in my opinion, especially when you play multiple copies of these cards. That's it for the deck profile. Let me know what you guys think. I think this deck has the chance to win an Ultimate Cup or top an Ultimate Cup. I think it's really that good.